Combination of ancillary texts. For the horror promotional package, I created a poster, a website and a trailer in order for my slasher horror film to be promoted effectively. When creating these three ancillaries, I thought it was necessary that there was a few aspects that I kept consistent throughout each ancillary piece. Firstly, I made sure that Miss Fortune had a distinctive house style. For example, elements included in each which represent the horror film, for example, the same font and tagline. I made sure I kept the target audience in mind before creating each ancillary. Our target audience was 15 to 24-year-olds, so quite a young target audience. The style of the images for each ancillary, I felt it was important that the images in the ancillaries fit with the subgenre of the horror film. For example, a slasher film, you would see lots of blood and knives, so that's why I wanted to include a lot of them elements in my ancillaries. Consistent use of colour, which are associated with the horror genre, for example, red, black and white. So firstly I made the poster. I made sure I followed the codes and conventions of horror when creating my poster. For example, my image was central on the poster with a black and white effect to take out any life in the picture. I felt that this fitted in with the horror genre more than if I had left the image in colour because it made the killer look more frightening. Like in the film Psycho, the black and white effect makes the killer Norman Bates look much more scary and like unlike life than if the film was in colour. I used conventional horror colours such as red, white and black for the background. These colours are important as an audience associates these with the horror genre. Red connotates blood and danger, therefore as my film's in the subgenre slasher, which is a gory film, it is necessary to include red so that the audience can associate the film with blood and murder. Black is always apparent when looking at horror posters, as the colour black represents death and darkness and evil in society. Also in society, black is always associated with the unknown. For example, why children don't like the dark, or why some people have phobias of the dark because like you can't see it and you don't know what's there. Therefore, black is always included in horror films, that you always see a lot of black. My text is slightly distorted and thin. I think my font is effective as it has a handwriting feel. Also, the fact that it is thin makes an eerie atmosphere, which works well with the horror genre. Adobe Photoshop allowed me to edit the images to make them grainy in black and white, and this also allowed me to distort the text a little bit. Without using this program, I wouldn't have been able to create the website or poster effectively. Throughout the creation of my poster, I felt it was imperative to keep the target audience in mind, 15 to 24-year-olds, at all times. For example, on the poster, I added links to Twitter and Facebook, as social networking sites are most popular with this target audience. Whilst creating the final poster, I made 3 drafts of the poster in order to create the final version. This was because I wanted to include all the conventions of posters and horror as well, yet make sure it looked aesthetically pleasing to the audience. Therefore, I kept adding to my drafts so it created a good poster which represented my film well. I think my poster complements the trailer as it further fits in with a distinct generic style through the use of colour schemes. Also, the tagline is apparent, which links the poster to the synopsis more. The only one thing that would improve how much the poster and trailer complemented one another would be if the title font at the end of the trailer of Miss Fortune was the same as my poster. This would just further add to the generic, distinct style. Secondly, I created my website. Similarly, like the poster, I also made sure I stuck to the conventions of websites. For example, I used the colour scheme of red, white and black still. I also made sure I included the image from the poster somewhere on the website so that the audience could recognise this image and relate one with the other. This means you can relate the film to the specific horror genre and the subgenre of slasher. Thinking about my target audience, I wanted to make the website interactive and appeal to my target audience. Therefore, I included a live Twitter feed from our production company, also music from the trailer to reinforce the generic house style, so the audience associates the music from the website with the trailer. I introduced a new image at the top of the homepage of the 3 main characters, each with a tinted coloured lighting, e.g. over the protagonist, blue. I put a blue lighting, as this like resembled danger and that death is coming to him. I did this so that the website would complement the trailer, as these 3 characters appear more than once and play a big part in the trailer. I feel that by creating a website which is interactive, I have successfully met the intended target audience's needs. Before creating the website, I researched the target audience and found that they are the biggest technological consumers, especially the internet. Therefore, a website would be a popular promotional aspect for my trailer. Then I created the trailer. The trailer, like the other two ancillaries, met the codes and conventions of horror. Before creating the trailer, I carried out extensive research on the codes and conventions of horror films. Therefore, when it came to editing and filming the trailer, I constantly tried to adapt to these conventions. For example, we made sure the lighting was suitable, low in saturation, and grainy in the outside night shots to give off a frightening feel. At the start of the trailer, we decided to begin with slow, clear morning shots so that straight away the audience's attention is captured by having after shots of the protagonist with blood on hand and a hammer. This meant that it would intrigue the audience as they wouldn't know why this has happened. This also quickly builds suspense for the trailer as it indicates something terrible has happened and instantly links the trailer to the horror genre. We have successfully used iconography within the trailer. For example, a main icon for me would be the killer's mask. This symbolises our film and features in all three ancillary texts, therefore a recognisable aspect which contributes to the house style. When casting for the trailer, we wanted the protagonist to be good looking, confident, and the type of person who seems as though they have had it all. Therefore, Jake played a good part in portraying the character we created. Secondly, we did have trouble finding a main girl for Kelly, as we chose a professional actress through a friend. However, it was hard to get in touch with her, so in the end I had to do it, which turned out better because I knew how I wanted the character to be and how I wanted it to be portrayed. Apart from that, all of the cast were reliable and they worked really well with our directions. I think I've successfully used technological convergence in my ancillaries, in particular my website, as it includes the poster, website, trailer, cast, filming process, all under one roof. There are even links to Twitter as well. Therefore, this makes my website multifunctional as it promotes my film under one roof. Convergence is important when marketing your product because it makes it more easily accessible for the audience to view your promotional package. The website makes it easier for the audience to access all the promotional packages so they can view it all at one time. I think that my trailer, the only significant prop is the knife, maybe the hammer as well. Mainly the knife, as this is a distinctive prop associated with the slasher genre, as it is a more personal and vicious weapon. Also, it means the killer has to be close to the victim, which reinforces a psychotic nature. The hammer is quite significant as well, as it is the weapon used from the protagonist who tries to fight back against the antagonist. We picked a hammer because we didn't want the protagonist to be seen as a psychotic killer who uses a knife, so that's why we chose a different weapon for him. When I was editing, we as a group decided to add in a voiceover of the protagonist talking, just to make sure that the audience understood the storyline more. And I think it helps as it allowed the audience to understand the killer's motives. Overall, I think that out of my three ancillary products, my trailer is the strongest. This is because more time and hard work went into this, and also me and my group all worked really well together in order to create the trailer. Not only that, but we all had a great interest in making the trailer as best as it possibly could be. That meant we all helped in the aspects required: filming, editing, research and casting, and in some cases actually being in the trailer. I feel that I have enjoyed making the trailer the most, and to see the finished version fully hitting the codes and conventions of horror, yet also looking like a professional piece of work, makes all the effort feel worthwhile. Also, I feel that the trailer worked well with the poster and website in the promotional package, as I personally made sure they were under the same distinct house style and met all the codes and conventions within themselves.